The mayor, unfortunately, is out this evening with back injury, so you guys get me tonight. So here I am. So we will call the August 21st, 2018 City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Parsons?
Here.
Mayor Adams?
Not here.
Councilmember Brudaszewski?
Here.
Councilmember Dahl?
Here.
Councilmember Deschler?
Here.
Councilmember Kolb?
Here.
And Councilmember LaRoche?
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, if you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have an agenda in front of us. Does anybody do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Nancy?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. We have 3 appearances this evening. We're going to start with Chief Revering.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Kolb and council members. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. I promise I won't take too much of your time, but this is a very important event, as you know. Officer Fecteau, if you could step forward. Officer Zach Fecteau was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, to his parents Jeff and Terry, who are here in the audience tonight. Eventually, they moved to Wyoming, Minnesota, and he graduated from Forest Lake High School. He started work on an ambulance for Lakes Regions EMS as an EMT. He started his college career at Century College before transferring to Hennepin Tech for the skills portion of his education. He graduated with his associate's degree in law enforcement in May 2017. Officer Fecteau was a community service officer here in Crystal before we hired him as a police officer on July 11th, 2017. We are proud to say he has successfully passed probation. You can clap for that. That's pretty good. Officer Fecteau lives in Chisago City with his beautiful fiancée, Abby, and I have to say, he's the one who said beautiful, so that's pretty good. And they are high school sweethearts and are getting married on October 19th of 2019. They live with their 2 cats, as well as their 9-month-old golden retriever, Duke, who he calls his best friend, but then he said in parentheses, next to Abby.
Well done.
He has several members and friends here today to celebrate this great achievement, and after Mayor Pro Tem Kolb swears him in, his fiancée Abby will be pinning his badge on. So Mayor Kolb, if I could have you step forward to swear in Officer Fecteau.
All right. Raise your right hand. I, and then state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Officer Zach Fecteau, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the state of Minnesota,
the laws of the state of Minnesota,
and the ordinances of the city of Crystal.
and the ordinances of the city of Crystal.
I further affirm
I further affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge my duties as a police officer
discharge my duties as a police officer
in providing assistance and service
in providing assistance and service
to all who look to me for help,
to all who look to me for help,
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was pretty good. That was impressive. Okay, Abby, it's your turn.
First time.
Honey, stick him with it.
No good if you don't draw blood.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations.
One more time.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you. Can we just stay here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I figured.
You're number 2 on the agenda too, so go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Mayor and council members. If I could have Officers Brian Elstrom and Officer Tang Bang step forward. So as you know, we hold our annual department meeting in May every year, and we honor those officers of the year at that meeting. And tonight we would like to recognize those officers in front of you. On September 30th, 2013, Officer Brian Elstrom began his career with the Crystal Police Department. Officer Elstrom had been highly recommended by several members of the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, where he served as a reserve deputy since 2010. According to Ramsey County Sheriff's deputies, Brian demonstrated strong leadership skills, and he had donated countless hours of his time to their county. During his time with our department, Officer Elstrom has demonstrated his ability to work hard, contribute to our team, and overcome hardships. He has been able to move past obstacles and show resilience, all while continuously providing a high level of service to our community. He is able to maintain his composure when dealing with difficult situations and find ways to resolve issues fairly and impartially. Day in and day out, Officer Elstrom emulates our department mission of serving all citizens with compassion, integrity, and professionalism. He is honest, dependable, trustworthy, and reliable. In May 2017, Officer Elstrom, along with their 3 other officers, were faced with a critical situation we all hope we never encounter, and he handled himself with great courage and heroism. On February 27th, 2017, Officer Tang Bang began his career with the Crystal Police Department. It is a great honor and career achievement for a police officer to be named by his fellow officers as Officer of the Year. To do so with just over a year on the job is a remarkable accomplishment. His nomination for this award reads in part, "Officer Bang is by far one of the hardest working officers that I've ever met. His positive attitude is contagious, and he looks for the good in every situation." Officer Bang's road to police officer is much different than any of us in this room. Tang was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, to first-generation Americans who were forced from their native Laos after supporting the United States during the Vietnam War. With English as a second language, Tang was raised in Mount Airy public housing for the majority of his youth. During this time, the St. Paul neighborhood had a serious youth gang problem, and as a young boy, Tang watched many of his friends turn to gangs as they grew into their teen years. Knowing he wanted a better life for himself and his family, Tang dedicated himself to his future and his education. We could not be more proud or more thankful to have him here with us as a member of the Crystal Police Department. Officer Bang is a dedicated member of this department, and in May 2017, while still in field training, Officer Bang, along with 3 other officers, was faced with a critical incident we all hope we never encounter, and he handled himself like a veteran officer. Officer Bang understands that hard work and reaching out to those in need really does make a difference in the community we serve. In his short time here, he has made great contributions to the city and this police department. At our annual department meeting in May, it was my great honor to present Officers Brian Elstrom and Officer Tang Bang with the Crystal Police Department 2017 Crystal Police Co-Officers of the Year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that's yours.
You have 6 or 7 more things?
I promised I said I would keep it short. So thank you again. If you don't mind, I'm going to excuse family and friends and our staff because I don't think they want to sit through the council meeting. Not that they don't want to see you guys, but if you don't mind, they're going to leave.
All right.
Thank you.
A lot of great things on the agenda tonight. All right, we have a third appearance. Do I have D. Everett from National Karate in Crystal? Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. I reached out, as many of you know, with an email regarding our karate school that's been in the Crystal area for the past 23 years. Crystal National Karate's been pretty much in the same area, over and around the mall area. So we had a really great occurrence, but just a quick little history for those of you that don't know us. National Karate has been around for almost 50 years. It started in 1976 and was founded by Grandmaster Worley and Grandmaster Carnahan. We have schools all over the Twin Cities. Many of you have seen us all over the place, here and there, but definitely here in Crystal. There's schools in Illinois, Minnesota, obviously, Wisconsin, Colorado. I think we have a couple clubs in Iowa. But basically what we're going to talk about tonight is I have a proud karate mama moment. We're going to brag on my children here. They're not my actual children, but one of them is, but she's not here tonight. So basically National Karate, but what we do is American Taekwondo. So many of you are familiar with Taekwondo. With the Olympics coming in Tokyo in 2020, that karate will be added to that. Taekwondo has always been a part of it. We have a small semblance of that's happening. Our students, our travel team, we've gained a lot of recognition locally on our regional tournament circuit, and then also nationally. These students and their parents travel across the country to compete with great success, and last year for the first time, international success. Two of my students, myself and one of my other co-workers from the Shorewood National Karate School, we all went to Ireland last year and we came back with lots of bling, gold, silver, and bronze. This year we had more students go out and try out for a team. This is Team USA, by the way. So we're all going out to represent the United States of America as martial artists. This year we had more students go out to try to make the team, and of all of our 14 members that made the team from National Karate, 11 of them came from Crystal National Karate. So I would like to have all of my students please stand up, and their parents. Congratulations. It's no small feat. We compete against a lot of people from all across the world. High level of competition. Most of our team here are fighters, except for our smallest guy. He's also a fighter, and also he does form and weapons. So he too made the team. He's our smallest, youngest member of the team, and the oldest member of the team. You're looking at it right here. So from youth, teens, adults, young adults, we have quite the spectrum that's going to represent our country in October in Athens, Greece. So we have, I have one of my students that's going to speak, and I'll go and sit down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Hello everyone, thank you all for coming. My name is Elena Wallach, and I've been in karate for about 9.5 years now. I've achieved the rank of 3rd degree black belt. Karate teaches many things, from traditional strikes to self-defense to form, sparring, and more. The reason I love karate is because it's a challenge physically and mentally, and you create friendships that will last a lifetime. You push each other to get better at the sport and challenge yourself to do things you never thought you'd be able to do, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. By being pushed, you're able to achieve things you never thought were possible. Over the years, I have earned many achievements in my sparring career. These include 2 overall grand championships in the girls 16 to 17-year-old sparring division in the North American Sport Karate Association circuit. I have been ranked #1 in individual and team sparring in the North Central Karate Association circuit for the past 3 years now, going on 4. I got to fight live on ESPN3, and I won a gold medal for team sparring for the World Kickboxing and Karate Union last year in Killarney, Ireland, during the World Karate Championships, where I got to represent the United States. These past 3 years of traveling around the country and world have been a dream come true for me. Not only did I think I'd be able to achieve this rare experience, but to be able to achieve everything is very humbling, especially representing my country, doing what I love. Over the years, I have learned a lot from karate, including humility, respect, discipline, and much more. I have also learned that if you truly want something, you have to work night and day, countless hours in order to achieve it. This year, 13 other athletes from National Karate made Team USA and will be traveling with me to the World Championships. My teammates and all want to come home with gold in all of our divisions, so we're training countless hours during practice and outside of practice. With the help of sponsors, we're able to go to Athens, Greece at the end of October to represent Team USA. Thank you, and we look forward to making everyone proud of the World Championships.
Oh, yeah. No,
It's going to be like patience training for you to see.
yeah, really exciting stuff we got on the agenda here. A couple of, some good stuff. No, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it. It was really cool to hear about. We're very proud to have you here in Crystal. Thank you for being here for as long as you have, and that's really neat stuff. Go ahead. Thank you.
Could you address us as far and the citizens at large about what you do, and if people seeing this really want to help and join, and what would they do? Where would they come?
Well, you can come. Well, as I said, we have schools all over the Twin Cities, but just to pop on in at the school, you can. We have ads all over, of course, social media. Everybody's doing a great thing of getting things out there. But our phone number, our website to contact us, come into the school, come and check us out. It's the best school ever. Just saying. Oh, and by the way, I'm the director and the head instructor over at the school. Yeah, so it's my school. But I don't own it, actually. There's the owner, Kelly Worley. He's the son of Grandmaster Worley, who started the whole shebang here. So he owns our school. So I've been running that school for the past 5 years, but come on in and check us out. Catch us on Facebook or on our website. So yeah.
Fantastic. And in October, where would we watch you?
It would probably be, it might be live streamed on one of the websites, one of the Facebook websites.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, so it may, anybody got any other? YouTube,
YouTube
yeah,
as well.
YouTube, yeah. None of the major, TV stations are going to chase after us, but
locally we can catch you
yes.
through other channels. That's
yes,
great.
yeah, and we'll definitely be taking videos of our own and posting it up there on our Crystal Facebook page.
Great.
So, yes.
Awesome.
Good luck to you guys.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night. Since this is, we can now go to the consent agenda. The council, which is really where the exciting stuff happens. We will consider the following items, which are routine and non-controversial in nature, in a single motion: approval of the minutes from the 4 meetings listed above, approval of the list of license applications submitted by the city clerk to the city council, a list that is on file in the office of the city clerk, approval of a resolution accepting the following donations: $500 from Rotary 5950 Foundation for the Crystal Police Department DARE program. Thank you for that. And $5,000 from West Metro Fire Rescue District Firefighters Relief Association, which has the longest name of any organization in Crystal, for the Crystal Frolics. Acceptance of, in advance, Timothy Wodarski's resignation from the Environmental Quality Commission. Approval of a resolution authorizing application for funds from Paul's Pals for Becker Park Playground. Approval of a solicitor license for Alex Powers of Comcast to go door-to-door in Crystal through December 31st, 2018, selling television, internet, telephone, and home security services. Approval of a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Council Environmental Services Inflow and Infiltration Annual Grant Program submission. Approval of a resolution ordering preparation of an assessment roll, declaring the amount to be assessed and setting the date for 2018 delinquent accounts. And approval of a resolution appointing Dave Anderson to the Bassett Creek Watershed as Crystal representative. Any questions or comments on any of those? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to open forum. Open forum is a time we've set aside to hear from citizens about items of concern that they have. And we've got one person on the list for open forum. So if you'd like to approach the podium, just for the record, please give us your name and address.
Okay, I'm Catherine Peterson. I'm from 5603 Veracruz.
Okay.
And this is my neighbor, Tom Boyce, who's at 5605 Veracruz. Judy has been such a wonderful, kind help with this problem.
I haven't got you much help yet, though.
Can you
I have some packet.
Can you tip that just a little bit toward you? Thank you.
I have a packet here of pictures that I went out and took, but this is basically our issue. So once again, I stand before the board, this time begging for you to come up with a plan to resolve the issues that continue to plague the residents whose homes are located adjacent to the strip mall on the 5600 block of Bass Lake Road. For your review, I have pictures that I would like to share regarding the environmental conditions of property that abuts the strip mall. This is city-owned property, by the way. Specifically, I'm referring to the southeast corner of the property line, which runs adjacent to the fence. As you will note from the pictures, the property is not only an eyesore, but in my opinion, a potential health hazard as well. I'm sure, as we all agree, garbage promotes rodent infestation, which in turn promotes disease. 2 weeks ago, I attempted to clean up the property. However, I soon realized it was a much bigger task than I alone was capable of conquering. My friend and neighbor Tom was kind enough to give me a hand last Sunday, and we alone took on the task of cleaning up that property. The total number of bags of trash that we hauled out of that lot was 6, which incidentally was enough to fill my waste container to the brim. As you glance through the pictures, you will note that one picture depicts an old cash register that was most likely just tossed over the fence at some point in time. Is it the city's intention to create a landfill back there? If that's the case, we will be most happy to assist by canceling our sanitation services with our vendor. This, might I add, would actually be a great asset to the association, as we pay close to $100 per month for waste removal. If I recall correctly, there's an old adage that says what's good for the goose is good for the gander. In other words, if it's okay for a commercial property owner to use our city property as a dumping ground, shouldn't it also be okay for the tax-paying residents to do so as well? I recently heard that the owner of the strip mall considers the tenants of his property to be great. If you're speaking in terms of business sense, I would agree that he probably is right. The tenants pay their rent, which in turn potentially poses a fantastic return on his investment. However, as a responsible and respectable business owners, the same cannot be said, not by a long shot. Since I've already discussed until I'm blue in the face the amount of litter and trash that customers and patrons of the mall generate every week by tossing it into the lot, I'd like to take a few minutes to once again discuss the noise that is generated by these same patrons and customers of the mall. A few weeks ago on a Friday evening, Tom and I were sitting on my balcony. Between the music and carousing in the parking lot, we could not hold a conversation without raising our voices. Although it was probably not the smartest thing to do, I enlisted the aid of my Bichon poodle and took a walk over to the parking lot. I approached a vehicle that had by far the loudest music blaring from the speakers. The conversation went as follows. I said hi and told him that although both my Bichon and I like his music, my little Chihuahua not so much, and that it was making her bark. The reply I got back was a bit abrasive, and it went as follows. Oh no, I'm not turning down my effing music for any GD Chihuahua. Then I said, you're kind of not getting the point. Your blaring music is making my dog bark. My barking dog, in turn, is annoying my neighbors. So yes, it is your music that is the problem, not my dog. He proceeded to complain that there were other cars in the lot and their music was blaring also. I said I was on my way to each and one of them as well. Was I successful in my mission? Not so much. One gentleman accused me of being racially biased to a certain genre of music because he wasn't playing the Rolling Stones. I assured him that it wasn't the type of music he played, but the decibel level. When my floor vibrates in my kitchen, it's just a bit too loud. I know for a fact that we have noise ordinances in the city. Drive down to the Super America on West Broadway, and you'll see a sign posted for a noise ordinance ban. Why can't this be enforced at all areas where both commercial and residential properties cohabitate? I assure you, I do not want the job of City Hall monitor for the City of Crystal. I, like most of you, am extremely busy and I have a stress-filled life. All I ask is that you would afford me the ability to sit out on my balcony on a Friday night, enjoy a beverage, relax in peace as the sun sets to the west. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments on that?
Just, we had talked, we have to be vigilant as neighbors when we hear that noise. We've got to call 911 because that's the only way we can track it and get it on the books for a nuisance property. And then that's the only way that we can begin to write citations to the property owner for having a nuisance property. And I know, you think to yourself, geez, I hate to call 911 for loud music, but we got it. And I'm all for doing it too for the litter because it just makes me vomit when I go by there and I see how much litter. And I pick it up quite a bit too.
Yeah. And likewise, with 911, you can tell them it's a non-emergency. Yeah.
But then it's still charted.
Yeah.
Documented.
And the squads will come around and tell them to cool it. And, if we do it enough, I think the property owner is going to get the message.
I guess what I would point out too is that we recently enacted a nuisance property ordinance in Crystal, which is new for us, that allows us to essentially levy a fine on someone for repeated violations of nuisance ordinances. That's something that started, I don't know, when did it go into effect? Weeks ago? A few weeks ago? So it's a new tool in the toolbox for us. But as Julie said, the only way that that's ever enforced is if those calls are made. We've got some issues up in the neighborhood that I represent with a particular property, and it's the same. We go through the same thing. I know it's a pain, but I've asked them to keep a log and call it in. And at the end, once we've got a few incidents, we'll compare your log to the 911 calls, and we'll move forward. And when people start receiving fines in the mail, it tends to get their attention. So. Or at least more than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Things cooking that I don't even know.
Thank you.
I sure appreciate your diligence and you doing all this work on it. You rock. Need more neighbors like you.
And I hope this new tool will help send a strong message.
Yeah. And I did
It's
talk to
action.
the property owner, but,
Yeah.
I don't know how far I got.
I could have taken those 6 bags and brought it to his house.
Yeah. Brought it to Orno.
And whatever that pickled jar of something.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yuck.
You're not selling it anywhere.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, we are on to a public hearing. We have a few public hearings tonight. The first is a public hearing to receive comment and consider a resolution vacating a platted drainage and utility easement to be supplanted by a larger easement in the plat of Bass Lake Addition. And all those people left. Can you believe that? and they're going to miss this vacating this platted easement, man. Mr. Sutter, what do you got for us?
Well, the bad news is I have a 35-slide PowerPoint tonight, but that's for 7 items, so it's only 5 per item.
Okay.
The item that Mayor Pro Tem Kolb just mentioned is item 6.1, which is probably the simplest of all of these, so this will go extra quickly. This is in relation to Bass Lake Addition, which is proposed as part of our surplus property sales, which is the subject of the other 6 items that I was mentioning. This is simply a cleanup item. This parcel is being replatted. The existing utility and drainage easements around the perimeter of the parcel should be vacated because they will be supplanted by new easements in the new plat. So this is something you can think of as sort of a housekeeping item. These easements are no longer needed, and it allows to have basically a cleaner plat, cleaner title for this property. So that's it for item 6.1, unless the council or the mayor have questions for me.
Okay, any questions on this item from the council? Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak about this particular item? Anyone? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing, and then I will entertain a motion for action on this? Anybody? Olga?
Sure, I will make the motion to adopt this resolution.
Well done, thank you.
I'll second that resolution.
Thank you.
Vacating a drainage and utility easement
There you
in the
go.
Les Brown edition.
Thank you,
Yes.
Julie.
All right, we've got a first and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.2.
Well, this one is a little more involved. This is a lot sale public hearing for 2 parcels that are in that new plat that I just described. And that plat is actually later on the agenda in the regular agenda portion of tonight's meeting. So we put out requests for proposals from builders to purchase and build new homes on these 2 lots. On July 19th, the proposals were due on July 31st. We received proposals from 2 builders. Novak Fleck proposed $146,000 price for both lots, and Tolberg $154,000 for both lots. The EDA held a closed session as allowed by statute on August 2nd to review the builders' offers. So the first proposal, Novak Fleck, again, they offered $146,000. Our minimum price, again, for both lots combined, a total $144,000. So just a little over the minimum. Both of these homes would be similar to homes that they have built recently at 3 locations in Crystal. And the house plan is the same for both of these lots, except they'd be reversed. So one would be garage left, the other would be garage right. And the 2 images below are intended to picture yourself standing in the middle of the cul-de-sac, looking kind of south, and the new home at 5624 on the left and 5618 on the right, just as you would see them if you were in the cul-de-sac looking at the 2 new homes. The one on the left, 5624, could have a walkout lower level because of the topography on this site, which drops off to the east. Tolberg is proposing a couple of similar but slightly different homes, but most significantly, they offered $154,000, which is $10,000 more than our minimum price for the 2 lots of $144,000. The house at 5618, the one on the right, is similar to one they built recently at 5618 Adair and also 5140 Lakeside. The house at 5624, the one on the left, is a slightly wider version of basically the same type of house. So it has a little bit different facade, but it's a very similar plan. And again, as with Novak Fleck proposal, 5624 on the left could have a walkout lower level. Staff is recommending acceptance of the proposal from Tolberg. So after tonight's public hearing, we request that you take action on the resolution authorizing the sale of these 2 lots to Tolberg. And the right-hand side of the screen is a site sketch showing the approximate location of the new homes. Assuming that you authorize the sale and Tolberg provides the earnest money in the signed contract, we expect to install the water and sewer services at the south end of the cul-de-sac in early September, close on the lot sales in mid-September. And as with all these, the underlying purpose is to raise money for the Parks Capital Fund for park system improvements, and this particular pair of lots is estimated to generate $126,000 for that purpose.
Fantastic.
So after holding the hearing, we ask for your action on the resolution.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Sutter from the council? Okay, then I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item?
I have a question. I'm not on the agenda.
Okay.
But I am a resident that
Okay.
purchased from Tolberg. Am I able to speak?
Sure. Yep. If you could just state your name and address, and then do we have a yellow card somewhere?
I don't know. One of those.
Oh, you do? We have one of those, just so that we've got the proper record, because it's a public meeting. We need to know who spoke.
Okay.
After you're done talking, yeah. Just fill it up and give it
I'm
to.
just gonna try to make it as short as possible. My name is Lisa Larkinslot,
Okay.
and I purchased a home from Tolberg in February of 2018.
Okay.
I live on the 49th Avenue North area. There's 2 homes that Tolberg built, and then down the road there's 2 more new homes, and across 100 is another home. If you've ever been in the area, you'll see I'm the only house that didn't have any landscaping done or my driveway completed. I would have to say that I work very well with Tolberg and their team for the interior of my house. My house was built in the winter. However, when we got to the outside, it totally broke down. I got no support from Tolberg to come out and fulfill their agreement. I got the responsibility of the builder, making sure that they're following through with zoning and code requirement. Due to being ignored, that was pushed over to me to handle hiring a new contractor, landscaper, asphalt company to come out and do the work that Tolberg's landscaper and asphalt company did wrong on my property. So what I would say is when the city is inspecting the work, when they sell these lots to Tolberg or any builder, especially if there's an escrow situation, that you hold the builder responsible to come out, inspect each step of the process to make sure that it's done properly. In my case, the builder ignored me. They were very rude, very intimidating, very bullying, and pushed me into a position where they didn't want to take on the responsibility of finishing my house. I don't know if it was because of forecasting and the price was over what they expected from what they put in the escrow. But regardless, we made an agreement with the city representative that they would take steps to come to my house, fix the mistake, and then once it was fixed, look at it and go to the next step. That did not happen. So I'd say selling the lots are great for the city. Make sure you enforce the rules with the builder, that they don't take advantage of the homeowner that purchases the home, because I spent a lot of money to have this house built.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. Thank you.
Very sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if my real estate agent, actually, she's pretty great. She stuck with me through this whole process. This is very unusual, she said, that this isn't normal. But she also helped me talking with the city to make sure eventually I got the help I needed. I'm still working on it. I still don't have all the money from escrow to get my house done. I'm still trying to get that process done without any help from the builder.
How long has this been? When did you move in?
I moved in February 2018.
Okay.
Our agreement that the outside work would be done by May 15, 2018. We did allow an extension because of the weather and the issues with the sod and asphalt. There are also requirements with the city that the city did allow extended time. That was never followed through. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak on this topic? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Any questions for anybody on questions at all on this particular item? No? No questions?
Well, you know, this is the first complaint of concern I've ever heard about Tolberg, which makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
Have you heard any? Or?
So, yeah, I've spoken with Lisa many times over the last, or a couple of times, I guess, over the last several business days. And we've been making accommodations to try to help her deal with the escrow and other things. And I don't want to get into too many details.
Right.
But she did provide a detailed email chain between her and Tolberg. And it was based on all the other properties they built. Their interactions were out of character in a way that I can't explain. But ultimately, you know, we're not court. I mean, we can't adjudicate a dispute between two private parties. So our focus has been on what help can we provide to Lisa so she can get her home completed and fully enjoy it. And we have spoken to Tolberg. They know that we're not happy about how this particular property, the way I described it, is like the wheels came off on their processes. And it's very out of character for all the other homes they built. So we are seeing it as a one-off situation because we've never seen this anywhere else. I have no explanation, but we just want to help her get it done,
Right.
so that she, like I said, she can fully enjoy the home. That's what our focus is on at this point. It's been going on for 6 months
Right.
plus now.
So is there something that we can add in our purchase agreement with them that, put some teeth in it to make sure that they adhere to their building guidelines and timeframes, weather permitting? I mean, I know that there's
Right.
mitigating factors, but
What happens in this particular case, and what actually happens frequently, which is why this particular case was so strange, is when a builder has the home completed, but it's because of seasonal reasons, such as it being February, for example, the yard and the driveway can't go in,
right.
then we have to release the EDA, the builder from the EDA contract in order for the home buyer's mortgage company to and their title insurance to accept the property, right? So we do that only when we receive the escrow to ensure that these items will be completed once the season and the weather accommodate it. That is what happened here. Normally, it is a very smooth process. Everybody waits 2 to 3 months until the asphalt plants reopen and the landscapers are available again in the spring, and everyone just gets their stuff done and the escrow gets released. That's how it normally works. I have no explanation as to why the wheels came off in this particular case. So I guess the short answer to your question would be, we already have everything in place. We will be more vigilant, certainly, because of what happened in this particular case with Tolberg, and they know that we are going to be more vigilant.
Okay. Geez, I hope you get some resolution.
I think the bills came off because Tolberg did not, they took their project manager off my property. He's the one that watches the subcontractors work. The subcontractors made mistakes. They made mistakes with landscaping and the asphalt driveway that was prepared to be completed. Instead of coming back and fixing the mistake, we wanted to cover the mistake by continuing with the work that was not right.
Okay.
So that's why I said that it's important that past inspections do each step of the process so the work is not covered up. I mean, it was obvious to me. I came home and caught it, but if they can continue with enforcing the inspection steps, that would help.
Okay.
Is it possible to get a follow-up on this? Would you be willing to come back and let us know? Or contact John and let us know?
Yeah,
That would be great.
I can come back. I have pictures. I showed Colbert the pictures. I had other contractors come out and just show that the work is wrong, this needs to be corrected, and moving forward, that didn't happen. I was ignored.
Yeah, I would really like to know if they step up and get this resolved.
Did you have something, Jen?
That answers my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion. Either way. Julie?
I'll make a resolution authorizing the sale of 5618 and 5624 Welcome Avenue North for a new house construction to Tolberg, pending they do a good job. Because it's in my ward.
Second, anybody? John?
I'll second that motion as long as they do a good job.
I'll be watching them.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, thank you.
And welcome to Crystal. Make this right.
All right. Mr. Sutter, number 3.
Thank you again. This is a similar situation, except it's 3 lots. This is the 5,000 block of Veracruz Avenue. There'll be a plat later on your agenda tonight to create these 3 lots. Again, we put the request for proposals on the website and social media on July 19th. Proposals were due July 31st. Again, received proposals from 2 builders. Novak Fleck offered $170,000, which was our minimum for the 3 lots together, and Tolberg offered $185,000. And the EDA held a closed session on August 2nd to review the builders' offers. So Novak Fleck, again, they offered our minimum of $170,000. Again, these images, picture yourself standing on Veracruz looking east towards the property. So the northernmost house is on the left, the southernmost house is on the right. The southernmost one, 5006, would fit on the lot. 5012 would have to be narrowed by a couple feet to fit. And 5018 is a lot like the one, actually it's identical to the one that they're building right now at 5612 Adair, but the 3-car garage would not fit on this lot here on Veracruz. Tolberg is again offering $185,000, which is $15,000 more than our minimum price. Again, moving from right to left or south to north. 5006 will fit on the lot with just minor tweaks to the side eave extensions. 5012 fits. In fact, there's a little bit of extra room, so the builders agreed to widen the garage from 20 to 22, which is kind of a desirable, kind of a minimum for a reasonable 2-car garage. And 5018 also fits, and there's enough room there that the garage could be lengthened to 24 feet, but the overhead door needs to be moved to the north side or the left-hand side as you're looking at it here, and then it would have a driveway coming off the cul-de-sac to the north, and I'll illustrate that in a second here. So here is the site sketch on the right-hand side of your screen of the 3 homes together. Again, the northerly one here, the garage door would actually be on the north end of the garage, and the driveway would curve up here towards the cul-de-sac. We are recommending acceptance of the Tolberg proposal because they are offering $15,000 more than the other builder who submitted. This project is a little more complicated because there are no water and sewer services readily available. This is something that you probably all remember from our earlier discussions about this property. And this project is big enough that we can't do it in-house. So if you, after the hearing tonight, if you authorize the sale, and then we would proceed to get quotes from contractors to put in the infrastructure, which I'll talk about in more detail with the plat later in the meeting. But that work is likely to occur in late September to early October. We would intend to close on the lot sales by mid-October, and this project would generate $117,000, we estimate, for the Parks Capital Fund. So after holding the hearing, we would recommend that you take action on the resolution.
Questions or comments from the council? Okay, I will open the public hearing on item 6.3. Anyone wishing to address on this item? Seeing no one approach, I will close the public hearing. And any questions or comments from the council again? No? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion. John?
Make a resolution authorizing the sale of 5006, 5012, and 5018 Veracruz Avenue North for new house construction to Tolberg Homes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Elizabeth, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to number 6.4.
Thank you again. This is a single lot in the kind of the other end of the city, the southwest part of the city. Again, the same RFP and proposal process. The same 2 builders made proposals. Novak Fleck offered $74,000 and Tolberg offered $77,000. Our minimum was $72,000. Again, the EDA held a closed session on August 2nd to review the builder's offers. This one is a little different because in this case, we are actually recommending the builder that proposed slightly less. They still recommended over our minimum price, but they are $3,000 below the other builder. The reason for that is that this home staff and the council that saw it at the August 2nd meeting, the consensus seemed to be this is a much better house plan and a much more desirable looking house. And one thing I want to point out about it, because it's a little narrower than the Tolberg proposal, which you're going to see next, it does provide more setback space on the side from the existing home to the north. And we just thought overall it's a much more appealing looking house. Also, it is being custom built for a specific buyer. This is not a spec home. So that's usually a plus when we evaluate proposals. So the Tolberg proposal is a 4-level split. It is basically the same house plan as, except the garage, I believe, is reversed at 5201 49th. And this is a fine home, but we just felt it wasn't quite as appealing at the 2949 Yukon lot as the two-story proposed by Novak Fleck. And also the price difference here was a lot smaller than on the other lots that we discussed. And this is on the right, a site sketch showing how the house will fit on the lot. It's important to note that the city in-house, our Public Works Department, has removed the bituminous trail that used to cut through the lot and has graded and built a new bituminous trail, not just along the lot, but then also all the way through the park to solve some of the recurring drainage problems on that trail. Soon the new curb cut will be installed here at the southeast edge of the corner of the lot, as well as at the other end of the trail on 31st Avenue, and the existing curb cut will remain for them to tie their driveway into. So everything is kind of in place. We're getting the sewer service lined here in the next week or two. And if you, after holding the hearing tonight, if you adopt the resolution authorizing this sale, we'll probably close the week of Labor Day, right after Labor Day. And this lot will generate an estimated $51,000 net proceeds for the Park System Capital Fund.
I do have a question on this one. The two proposals, is there a variance between the ultimate value of the home that will be built? Is there a significant variance between the?
We didn't do any kind of appraisal, and we're not really equipped to do anything meaningful or accurate. It was more of a subjective review of the two house plans. Okay. The important thing to note about the two-story, though, is that it has an unfinished basement, which can be finished later, whereas the four-level would be fully finished. I don't recall exactly how the square footage is. I think they kind of netted out pretty closely. But again, it just came down to this two-story seemed to be a better fit for this lot than the four-level.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't, killing the one that was going to generate 3 times the tax revenue over the long run or something. So
I think it's safe to say it would be a marginal difference in value. They'd probably be pretty close in value.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone else? Okay, I will open the public hearing on this topic. Anybody wishing to speak on this one? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Any questions from the council after that public hearing? No? I'll entertain a motion. Nancy?
I'd like to make a motion authorizing the sale of 2949 Yukon Avenue North for new house construction.
Can I get a second?
I'll get a second.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Is there a 6.5? There is not. So now we will move, was that it?
The regular agenda.
I guess we're moving, item number 1 on the regular agenda. Goodness gracious, I gotta get my packet up to speed here. Hold on. It's my first time here, just go easy on me. All right, I gotta find my $25,000 disbursements.
Oh,
It's a long list, too. Did you see this list?
What a fun night.
Here, it's right on the screen, too.
Yeah, I know, but give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. Is it after all this?
Yes. We all love to hear you talk. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I think I might just stipulate to the list. I'll just read it off the screen. Okay, we are going to.
Only we were spending money.
We are going to consider the approval of disbursements of over $25,000 submitted by the Finance Department to the City Council. And I'm going to read through those, and I'm going to go kind of quick. And if you have any questions about them, save them to the end, and then let me know. Number 1, Commercial Asphalt Company for 1,137 tons of asphalt for a mill and overlay project in the amount of $58,000. Mansfield Oil Company for a bunch of unleaded fuel and some diesel fuel, $39,400. Mayor Electric Corp, a Welcome Life generator. That probably means like Welcome Avenue.
Lift generator.
Okay.
That changes things.
Should say lift generator. It's not generating life. It's generating lift. For $36,800. Our good friends at the Met Council for August wastewater service costs, $127,413. Para for employee and city required contributions for 7/13, pay date $52,806. Ziegler for a new cat tractor backhoe, $28,500. Crystal Leased Housing Association LLLP for the Kavanaugh TIF note payment in the amount of $120,000. Health Partners, Inc., August health insurance premiums for $95,000. Paulda and Sons, Phase 16, Skyway Park reconstruction for June, $283,867.30. Pember Companies, Inc., Bass Lake Road Streetscape for June, $217,000. West Metro Fire and Rescue, July fire budget allocation, $95,305. Golden Valley Joint Water Commission for June water costs, $176,000. Logis for June support and services, $36,000. Para again for $52,295. Excel Energy electric service for Crystal Buildings and for city streetlights of June, $25,198.88. That's different. We don't usually see that. Commercial Asphalt Co. 4.11 tons of asphalt for $27,046. The Met Council again for September wastewater service costs, $127,413. Musco Sports Lighting LLC for the lighting project at Welcome Park, just over $200,000. Para again, $56,261. Rachel Contracting Inc. for some very welcome park improvements at Welcome Park, $239,718. And our good friends at the IRS twice, $58,000 for the 7/13 pay date and $61,000 for the 7/27 pay date, for a grand total of $2,214,635.24 of disbursements over $25,000. Any questions on any of those? Or
I just had a question on the fuel cost. So do we get our fuel at a wholesale price, or is it without the so-called gas tax included in the cost of the fuel itself?
I don't know the answer to the question about the tax, but I know we do buy it wholesale.
Okay.
So we paid $2.46 a gallon by my calculations.
Very cheap.
It is. That's what I thought too.
well, some of it's diesel and some of it's
Yeah, diesel's more expensive.
some of it's unleaded, so you know.
Right, but overall, $2.46 a gallon.
All right. Why am I seeing Excel Energy for the first time that I can recall in 4 years?
It's probably because it just came in. We had a bunch of them that totaled more than $25,000 in one check
Okay.
period.
Okay. It's just usually less than $25,000?
Correct.
Solar panels must not be working.
I guess not. Okay. All right. Any other questions on those?
No.
How about a motion? Julie?
I'll make a motion for approving the expenses over $25,000.
I'll second that.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.2, the council considered approval of the West Metro Fire Rescue District 2019 budget. Who's talking?
I'll start, if you're okay.
Fantastic.
As you know, Crystal and New Hope are part of the West Metro Fire District, and part of our bylaws require that the West Metro Board approves its budget for the following year by the end of July, and each city council has to take action on that budget by the end of August of each year. And we reviewed the 2019 budget at a recent work session. Chief Larson was there. The increase in the budget is primarily due to staffing, and we are slowly adjusting our contribution to the capital fund because we are not sufficiently funded long-term. So we added $20,000 in to fund the capital. The preliminary 2019 budget is $2.4 million approximately, an increase of about $126,000 over last year's, and Crystal's share is about $62,000 of that. So Chief Larson is here to answer any questions you might have, or I will answer them, or Mayor Pro Tem Kolb is also on the fire board to answer questions.
Questions from anyone?
But
I think Sarah's got to come up here and talk to us because you don't get a budget without speaking. We don't just write $1 million checks, Sarah.
Yes, sir.
$95,000 $305.71 in July. All right.
I didn't do the math on it, but I mean, it kind of looks to me like it's about a 5%.
That's about right.
The total increase is 5.5%. The general fund increase is 5.8%.
Any other questions on this? It's a little higher than I wanted to see, but we went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Okay.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Well, that's what we have a fire board for.
Yep. So we, I will say the fire budget is fairly lean, and we usually come within a ridiculous amount, like a very small variance. And as mentioned, in that percentage increase, we are stepping up. We stepped up $20,000 last year. We are stepping up $20,000 this year. We'll probably step up $20,000 next year, or whoever's on the board will, so that we can get to a point where we fully fund our capital. And I think we're fairly close to there-ish. It's not $20,000 for the next forever. It's
No.
20,000 additional for the next maybe
Until 22.
until 2022. So, and then we will be fully funded, which is a strange notion in the public sphere. So, any questions? Any other questions on the budget? Entertain a motion to approve this. Nancy?
I will make a motion to approve the West Metro Fire Rescue District 2019 budget.
Second. John?
I second that motion.
Anybody got anything to grill Sarah on? I feel like we're letting her off easy. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, Sutter, you're back. I will say, we should point out that we paid 49.79% of the fire budget this year, and New Hope picked up 50.2%, which I'm sure John Elder will be cranky about at the next meeting, so he'll find a way to try and get that reversed. Continue. Number 7.3, what are we doing now? Oh, a preliminary and final plat for Bass Lake Edition.
So this is related, thank you again, this is related to the 5618 and 5624 welcome lots, the lot sales of which you approved earlier tonight. But we also need to get through the platting process. So this is the subject property, again, is a vacant parcel at the south end of the Welcome cul-de-sac, south of 57th Avenue. It was identified, it's historically been identified as being part of North Bass Lake Park, but it's never been dedicated or restricted to park purposes. It has no active park use or facilities. Again, the new lots will be addressed as 5618 and 5624 welcome. And again, the proceeds from the lot sales will go into the Parks Capital Fund, and we hope to close in mid-September. So this is the preliminary plat. The big difference between the preliminary plat and the final plat, it isn't like one is a draft and the other is a final. It's sort of a misnomer. The preliminary plat includes a lot of other information about topography, site, trees, existing improvements, and so forth. The final plat is just the clean legal document that gets recorded that says when you buy, say, lot 1, or block 1 of this subdivision, it is a way to legally describe what you're buying. So, an unfortunate set of terminology here, but it's really the final plat that gets recorded and creates the parcel that we can sell. So the homes will meet all zoning requirements. The lots meet all zoning requirements. There are existing mains in the cul-de-sac. In-house, we're going to be able to save some money by installing sewer and water service connections ourselves. We're also going to have a concrete contractor put the curb cuts in. There are new easements, as I described in the first item tonight. There are new easements on the plat that will handle any utilities. Any new private utilities, power, and so forth will be undergrounded per our normal requirements. Stormwater management plan is not required for a plat of this size, but erosion controls will be required during construction. Again, that's standard for any new home. We are going to acquire some replacement tree planting as we do with our similar EDA lot sales. And no park dedication fee is required in this case because the net revenue is going into the park's capital fund. So we'd just be charging ourselves a fee that would reduce what we can pay into the parks fund anyway. So that's why no park dedication fee is being charged. So the Planning Commission did recommend approval at their meeting last week, and the council is asked to adopt the resolution approving the plat of Bass Lake Addition.
Questions? Motion. John.
Make a motion approving the resolution approving the Bass Lake Addition preliminary and final plat.
I'll second.
Julie will second that. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. That plat is approved. 7.4, preliminary and final plat for Kavanaugh View Addition.
Thank you again. This is a very similar story, except it's 3 lots. But just to get on the record, the site has been historically identified as Schutz Park, but is not dedicated or restricted to any park purposes. This property actually had a public use deed restriction that expired 32 years ago. So any restriction is long gone. It's never had any active park use or facilities. The new lots will be addressed as 5006, 5012, and 5018 Veracruz. And again, the proceeds would go into the Parks Capital Fund, except this one, the closing is likely in mid-October, and I'll explain why in a moment. So this is the preliminary plat, and this is the final plat. With a couple of exceptions, the lots, the proposed new homes and the lots will meet all of our zoning requirements. The exception is the northerly lot, Lot 3, which is 5018 Veracruz. We're requesting, it's the next item on the agenda, variances from the front and rear setbacks and also the minimum lot depth on one of the 2 sides of the lot. And that'll be the next item again. But apart from those things, all the lots meet or exceed our minimum requirements. This illustration is just a rough sketch that's currently being made into a proper engineering drawing of the infrastructure that we need to have installed in order to sell these lots so new homes can be built on them. The green line is a new sanitary sewer lateral, which we have to have installed because the current sanitary sewer trunk line under the middle of Veracruz is about 20 feet deep. So we'd have to dig up the entire street. And it makes a lot more sense just to build a 8-inch lateral in the utility easement along the front of the lots and tie into an existing manhole that's off the top of the image here just north of the cul-de-sac. We're also going to be putting in 3 water services. The water's on the west side of Veracruz. We're going to dig a pit at each one on the west side and then bore under the road, which is a very normal way to put in water services. And then finally, the red and pink, that's where we're going to put the curb cuts in for the 3 homes. This work will take some time. We'll have to come back to you once we get contractor price quotes to ask you to authorize an actual contract with somebody to put this stuff in. We expect to do that at your 2nd September meeting. And the work would occur in late September, early October, so that we can sell these lots by mid-October. Before I move on, any questions on what you're seeing here on this slide?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. So, again, erosion controls will be handled just during the home construction process. There'll be new tree planting required, and park dedication is not required because the revenue will be going into the Parks Capital Fund. So Planning Commission also recommended approval of this subdivision, and we're asking you to adopt the resolution approving the plat of Kavanaugh View Addition.
Questions?
Just had a procedure question. I know earlier tonight we approved the sale of the lots, and now we're approving the final plat. Is that a normal order? I'm just being a quasi-newbie.
So what the order that really matters is when you come to record the documents. So the way we have to record everything is the plat has to get recorded first, because that creates the lot that we're going to sell. You can do the approvals in a different order if you want. It's just that we can't actually turn your approval into action until the plat is recorded with the county so that that lot legally exists. Then we can then record the purchase and redevelopment agreement, the deed, all that stuff that goes with the actual lot sale.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? John?
I'll make a motion approving the resolution for Kavanaugh View addition, preliminary and final plat.
Nancy, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.5, now we're doing a dimensional and setback variances for Lot 3, Block 1, Kavanaugh View addition.
Thank you again. This is the last of the 7 items related to the surplus property sales. This is what's called it's basically a through corner lot, or a corner through lot. I'll go right to the drawing here. It has roads on 3 sides, the west, east, and north. For that reason, the zoning ordinance requires a minimum setback from the west and east frontages of 30 feet. But because the lot narrows as you go north, and it has the very busy roadway to the east, and then the cul-de-sac to the north, the normal setbacks don't really make sense on this lot given its shape. And so the recommendation from the Planning Commission was to approve the requested variances that would reduce the east and west setbacks from 30 to 20 feet, and also would, if you'll note, the north side lot line here does not meet our 100-foot minimum depth. Again, that's because it's a trapezoid-shaped lot and it narrows as you go north. However, the overall lot area exceeds the minimum requirements of our zoning ordinance. So it's just a quirk of the shape of the original parcel that causes the variances to be needed on this lot. Now, the home, if it were set back the normal 30 feet from Veracruz, could be pushed further east, that is true, but there's a busy 6-lane highway directly to the east, and so the idea here is that the initial home will be built set back 20 feet. This dashed line here is a 2-foot overhang, so that's why the actual foundation wall is set back 22, because the overhang has to be out of the setback. But it's set back 20 feet from Veracruz, and that, for the initial construction, maximizes the space between the home and the adjacent roads to the north and to the east. Now, recognizing that the variance also applies to this east setback line, should this homeowner choose, they would be able to build a 4-season room or something kind of on the east end down here if they want to, or a deck. There'd be room for that, and that's why we're asking for variances from both of those frontages. This is a reasonable use of the property. It doesn't conflict with any of the intent of the zoning ordinance. The minimum setbacks from the south will actually exceed our minimums in our ordinance. And the idea here, again, is to optimize the placement of the home on this lot. So, the criteria are in your staff report, so I won't go through all of them, but it's important that those are adopted, included in the approval of the variance. I think they're in the resolution. So with that, the Planning Commission did recommend approval, and we're asking you to adopt the resolution approving the variances for 5018 Veracruz.
Questions? Motion. John again.
Well, just one comment before we make a motion. We've had some odd-shaped lots on County Road 81, and we put some homes on those lots. I mean, I initially thought there'd be no way that we could build on them, but given the fact that with the variance, we're able to more or less optimally put the house in a location where it fits the best for this piece of property. And that's one thing I think the Planning Commission talked about extensively a week ago last Monday at the meeting, and I think that this is a good fit. So with that, I'd like to make a motion approving the resolution for variance at 5018 Veracruz Avenue North.
I'll second.
Elizabeth seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Be gone with you, Mr. Sutter.
No,
Julie has a question for you, John, if you would entertain that, please.
Of course.
Julie?
It's just on the Bass Lake streetscape improvements. I just wondered if I could get just a quick 2-sentence, update on when the plantings and the lighting will be going in, because so far, it's kind of.
Yes.
And, when I drive by there every single day, I just sort of notice that some of the same cars park there all the time for long periods of time. I don't know if you've noticed that either. So I didn't know if we were going to entertain any kind of like a 2-hour parking limit to You know, I think because the primary purpose of that inset parking is to attract customers to pop in, pop out, and do their shopping. And I'm afraid if those parking spots get all absorbed by, say, people working, it's going to turn out to not be as beneficial as what it was originally intended for.
Well, this will be a little longer than 2 sentences, but I'll try to keep it short. So what the reason for the delay, and I've been waiting to try to get the time frame better nailed down before sending out another update, but basically it's all because of manufacturing delays with the new streetlights.
Okay.
The factory is in South Carolina, I think, and they're back ordered, even though the order was placed back in May. And we thought we'd be getting those by the end of July. They are now expected to come at the end of August. And we can't put the plants in until the irrigation system is running. And we can't get turn the irrigation system on until we have power. And we can't energize the power until we have the street lighting installed. So everything is kind of waiting for that. We also don't want to put the benches and trash cans in and all the new fixtures until we have lighting in the area.
Right.
So unfortunately, that's holding up everything. Okay. We recognize it looks ugly, it looks unfinished because it is unfinished, and we're hoping to get the time more nailed down here within the next couple of days, and we'll be getting an update out to all of you as soon as we're able to do that. Regarding the parking, the businesses have commented that they absolutely love it, and they've already noticed that their customers love it. As to cars being parked there longer term, I've asked the businesses to please let me know if they think that's a problem.
Okay.
We haven't had complaints yet. We have told the businesses, though, that for now we're kind of relying on the honor system. We're not sure we're going to do a 2-hour parking limitation because we don't want to create a solution unless there's actually a problem.
Right.
But that's something that is a tool in the toolbox, again, to use the cliche, if and when we know that we need it. But right now, it seems to be working okay without that.
Okay.
We want to get the project finished and then kind of check in with the businesses and see if the parking's a problem.
Okay.
And then there are some other tweaks that we might do, like to some of those rocky rain gardens in the parking lots and some other things after we get the main project done. So that's where we're at.
And there was one other thing is, I was working on Monday night and got home about midnight. And I drove by and I noticed actually a fair amount of cars on the street at midnight, which I thought was odd too because I couldn't imagine what business would be open that there would be cars parked there. And so I just was curious if there's any ordinance about parking there after, say, 11 at night or something.
Well, 2 to 5 a.m., that restriction applies.
It does apply, okay.
Right.
Because I don't see where it says that anywhere, but maybe I just didn't look.
Oh, it's just citywide on-street parking. So I mean, most people aren't out at 2 in the morning, but if there are vehicles parked there from 2 to 5 a.m., they're subject to the same.
Okay. Well, and you know, I mean, if there's a bar or a restaurant or something that goes in and offers late night service in the area, I can see why there would be cars parked there.
Yeah,
I just couldn't think of anything off the top of my head.
I know that one of the restaurants there is open later, maybe till 11 or midnight, something like that. And they also do have a lot of delivery customers.
Okay.
So, but I'm just speculating that it might be related to their business.
And then my very last question, Jeff, I apologize for going on. Now, the lighting fixtures that we're getting, I should have asked this before we even bought them, but do they have the whistles and bells on them so that we can put little flags and hanging planters and things on them at some point if we want to retrofit them with different decorations?
They have the banner arms.
Okay.
They're not set up for planter hooks because of we talked about the maintenance headache.
Yeah.
But one of my post-construction ideas that I want to explore is, remember those portable planter boxes that could be moved out in the winter and moved back in the spring? We decided not to remove those from the project. However, if we could get one or more of the local businesses to sponsor, like they'll agree to maintain it, to weed it, to water it, maybe we would buy one or have a handful of them, and then it would be sort of an adopt the planter thing. So we don't have to have our public works parks crews out there maintaining these flower beds right in front of these storefronts, but the business owners would have that option if they're willing to do that. That's one option. We've also talked about using a vertical city flag type banner, using the banner arms and putting those up, but that's again a kind of a post-construction
Yeah.
What are these other elements that we can add later once we get the big project done?
When
So
I was
these are all-
traveling, this through the United States, and I was going through some small towns, I was looking at everybody's lighting fixtures to see what they have on them, and that's what kind of triggered the question about the flag, And now I'm done.
It pains me to say anything nice about our neighbors in Robbinsdale, but actually on election day, they actually, right on West Broadway there, they put up they changed their banners to say vote.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty cool. So East Crystal did one thing right. Good job, guys. I guess it's me. Anything else? Okay, announcements. City Council will hold a budget work session on August 23rd at 6:30 in the community room, 6:30 p.m. That's 2 days from now, Thursday. City offices will be closed Monday, September 3rd, in observance of the Labor Day holiday. The next City Council meeting is Tuesday, September 4th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers here at City Hall. The Crystal Business Association meets on Wednesday, September 19th at Crystal City Hall in the community room. Girl and Boy Scout troops are invited to lead the pledge at City Council meetings. Troops who are interested may contact City staff for information. And as always, City Council meetings and work sessions are open to the public. Current and previous meetings are available for viewing and listening at Crystal MN at the newly redesigned www.crystalmn.gov. Any other announcements from the peanut gallery?
Well, one, since Stephanie's here tonight, just can you give us an update on Night to Night, which I thought was a huge success? We had, 69?
It's 72.
72 parties, wow.
We did. Mayor Pro Tem and Council, we had 72 block parties in the 5.5 square miles of Crystal, which is a great number. It's been about our average for the last 5 years. All of the parties were attended by police, fire, and yourselves, and it went very well.
Thank you so much. And then I know we have an official swearing in next month, but
you do. I will introduce him. So we were trying to downplay it a little bit for Officer Fecteau. Deputy Chief Brian Hubbard is in the audience tonight, and this is day number 2 for him. And we couldn't be happier to have him here, and we're very excited. And
You've been here for only 2 days, and you've already seen us vacate a platted easement?
The excitement is still showing on his
it
face.
It does not get better than that.
You didn't get that kind of entertainment in Dinah, did you?
Riveting, yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Julie.
And I have one additional announcement, too. Our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Quad Community group will be hosting a pork chop dinner on August 29th at 5 o'clock, from 5 to 7 at the Crystal VFW. It's $10. And 80% of the profits of the proceeds go to help just the local veterans in our communities.
And it's a mighty fine pork chop, too.
It really is a good pork chop. And you get a baked potato, coleslaw, and a roll. No, garlic toast. And it will be served by the committee members, so please come out and try to support that. I did post it on the Light of Crystal Facebook page, too.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
And since John Elholm is in the gallery, could we give us a quick update on Mack Park? Because we have a ribbon cutting coming up in early September. I'm very excited. And Bert's here, too. I know you don't, but I bet you're excited about this.
Well, good evening. Yes, we have a ribbon cutting on September 8th at 1 o'clock. And that will officially open the boardwalk that was built there over the winter and into the spring. And then the weekend actually consists of what's it being called, a park expo. We're working with Three Rivers Park District, and they're actually taking more of the lead on it. But from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, both Saturday and Sunday, there's going to be activities like zip lines and climbing towers and all that sort of thing.
Yep, so, like birds of prey?
I believe so.
Or something?
Yeah, there'll be naturalists out there. And
rabbits? We got any rabbits?
Okay.
Those are wild out there.
Yeah, they're already out there. Yeah.
There's more than 24, I bet.
If there's more than 24 rabbits, it needs a permit.
So great weekend plan.
It should be a great weekend out there, and I encourage you to come on out.
Yeah, thank you.
And there's more information about that on our website.
The newly
recreation
redesigned
website.
crystalmn.gov/recreation. Probably. I don't know if that's true or
Yes,
not.
there's information out there and there's postcards out there as
Okay.
well. And I do have some I can give you after the meeting if you'd like.
Thank you.
Okay. You're cut off. What do you have?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. It's my
Okay.
Minnesota goodbye.
And we are adjourned. It is, sorry, 8:25 PM.